Well, hello, everyone. It is time for one of the most anticipated episodes of Unfiltered Brew ever. I am Deb Miles, along with the newly wedded Kim Becker.
Yes. Hello, gorgeous.
Hello, everybody. And hello, married lady. How are you?
I'm good. I was thinking about that the other day. I actually, because I've been a widow for 8 years, right? And Tom and I were engaged for almost 18 months, I guess. And it was funny because I went to say something about him and I was like, am I fiat? Oh, no, it's my husband.
Oh, I love saying that's a good word.
And I haven't had a husband in a really long time. So, it's hard to get into, I got to get back into that groove again.
Now, once you get back in the groove, because first of all, we'll get into the details of the wedding. I know there's some great stories. But talk about now he's your husband. Is there any comparison to your other husband now? How does that work when you get another husband? Because I know what happened to me and it wasn't good.
It's funny. I was, so tomorrow is the 8th anniversary of Mike's death.
Oh.
When we're recording this, that's what tomorrow is. And so I always kind of do a blog about that to acknowledge it, right?
Absolutely.
And I do the blog in the form of a letter to him. And so I was telling him about, just what it was like those last moments of his life when I was by his side until he was gone. The last words he said to me is that you have to keep going. And that, that we've done a really good job, I feel, of walking the path that he laid down for us, telling him that Seth graduated from college and that the older he gets, the more he looks like him. And that, he's got a smile and he's got his servant's heart. And then I told him about Hello, Gorgeous, and how we're getting ready to celebrate our 20-year anniversary, which I cannot believe. I know, 20 years. And what we've done to honor Mike through that with his picture on the wall and his Bible verse on the other wall and a logo that we had designed just to commemorate him. And then I said, then I talked about how you said we had to keep going, and we have. And, I found this amazing man that, and I said, it truly is a match made in heaven. And I said something to the effect of, I believe that you had a little something to do with that. And that he really has picked up where Mike left off.
See, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that he loves Seth. And that even in this little blog letter that I wrote, I believe that Tom gives Seth advice that Mike would give him. And that I equate it to, you ask comparison. I don't think that there's any comparison. But I also don't think parents that have two children compare the children to each other.
No, they don't.
You love them. You love them differently. Mm-hmm. And I only have the one child, but I believe that if I had a second child, it's not that I would kick the other child out. My heart would just grow to love them both.
Absolutely. That's exactly how it should be.
Yeah, and I just love them differently. Same thing with husbands. So I don't ever stop loving Mike. I love Tom. I love them differently because they're two different people. But my heart just enlarged to be able to accept both of them, not just one or the other.
See, I had the issue where my husband kind of resented my husband who passed away. He thought he had to have big footsteps because a lot of people knew him and liked him. And he was larger than life at times, my first husband. But Rocco always thought, I have to be, you're comparing me to him. And I never really did compare him. That was only kind of in his head. So that was kind of weird there. But you again, have conquered any problem that you could probably have and just take it in and you love it up.
I do. And you know what? It's funny because I don't compare them. However, I have made the comment to Tom, of which he told me that I just made it weird. But I've said to Tom, if Mike were alive, they would be best friends.
Well, that's a good thing to say.
And they have a lot of the same interests. They have they just treat me in a very similar manner. Mike loved me as if I was his whole world. I feel that same love from Tom. And so I don't know that I necessarily compare them, but I have said that, right? You guys would be best friends.
That's awesome.
Just very similar, interests and stuff. But yeah, Tom is really good about that. So I have a fun story to tell you.
Mm-hmm. I want to hear it.
So when Seth graduated from college I don't know that I said this. I don't know if I told this story the last time. Did I tell the story about how Mike showed up at graduation?
Yes.
I did tell you that story.
I think you did. But it is a cool story to remember.
Yeah.
That they're always with you.
They're always with us. And I remember sitting there looking at Tom, and Tom just looked at me And, we've told the story, and Tom's like, it was really cool. So there wasn't any, I was compared or I was pushed out because Mike's name was announced. It was that was like, we all just kind of looked at each other being bewildered. Like, how did that happen?
That's the wonderful thing.
Yes.
And you seem to have such symbolism in everything. And I love that about you. You're so positive. You're so upbeat, and you find the good in everything.
I do try. It's interesting because Tom was a little disappointed at our wedding. A couple family members didn't come. And he's got a brother that's kind of ailing, and the sister just felt that maybe it wasn't a good place for them to be. And, and again, Tom was disappointed. And I'd said to him, and I tell everybody this when things like that happen, no, it's not personal, it's protection.
Yeah.
So I said, maybe there's a reason that they're not coming, and you just can't see it. Maybe somebody would have a bad fall, and you wouldn't forgive yourself because they had gotten injured if they're a little bit more frail. And I really do believe that, though. No is not personal, it's protection. And, I kind of talked him through it, and he's like, well, look at you making a negative situation all positive and stuff. And
that's what he loves about you. I know that. Because
Yeah.
I was watching you two together, and you work well together.
Yeah.
And at the wedding, well, first of all, the wedding was beautiful. It was gorgeous. And I'm sure you have stories.
A couple.
Yeah. I'm sure you do. But it was beautiful. But it was so funny because everybody was, swarming around you. And Tom's kind of a laid back kind of guy.
Yes.
And I said, I don't want to take you away from Tom or whatever. He goes, oh no, we're dividing and conquering.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
And that was the perfect thing to say or do. And he was just, and I think he was shocked because at the end, maybe it was because I had too many drinks. I went up and hugged him, and he kind of looked at me like, uh-oh.
He loves you. He loves you. But what I loved the most about that, I'd read, you see TikToks and articles and this and that. And one of the things that they say is try and stay together as much as you can, to visit people. And I didn't know what would happen, because we had the veranda and we had the cigar bar outside, and would he go outside and smoke a cigar? And we found each other. I mean, there were times where we were separated, but there were a lot of times where we were together, visiting with my family and friends, and then visiting with his family. And I remember at one point in time, he looks at me and he goes, well, I'd like to go talk with my family. I'm like, oh, go ahead. He's like, no, I want you to come with me. I'm like, oh. Oh.
Well, it was a beautiful wedding, and it's very smart. And unless, especially with your second time around, it's good to have a wedding where everybody's there. You get married there, and then you have the reception there. It's so much easier for everyone. Though I know sometimes with a big first wedding or whatever, it's hard to do that. But when you can just you and it's your family, and you kind of have a little more, sensibility about it, because it was hot, and you don't want people running around or whatever. But I love the place where you had it, and you all looked beautiful. But there were definitely some specific things that happened.
Okay.
So I want to hear from the very beginning how the wedding went and what stories you may have.
So, my brother-in-law officiated the wedding.
Yes.
We asked him when we were drunk. So, you never know how that's going to turn out. And he thought we were joking. And then when he found out we were serious, he took it very serious. So we had to, he's my brother-in-law. We had to have several meetings with him, talking about like what marriage meant to us. And he did the whole Christian thing. So it was like a 3-hour course that he had to take. And he actually has the title of clergy now that he's done this, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I appreciated what he did to all of this. And so we're talking about the rehearsal. And he's like, okay, we're going to get in place, and then we're going to run through it. And then we're gonna run through it again. Then we're gonna run through it again. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was fearful like that the wedding was going to be 5 hours long. I didn't know. And so it wasn't. It was perfect. It was beautiful. He backed it out. I love that we had a wedding on Friday night.
That's another thing I was going to bring up.
I love that the rehearsal and everything was Thursday night, and then the wedding was Friday night, and then we had a party with family, the next day on Saturday, and then we had Sunday to recover. And so that was great because it wasn't, all over the place. I didn't want to see Tom beforehand, so this was one funny story. I didn't want to see Tom on Friday. So I spent the night. So when I got married the first time, my one of my very best friends, we've known each other for 40 years. When I got married the first time, I spent the night at her house the night before the wedding because I didn't want to see Mike. And we had actually all the hair people like come to her house and that kind of thing. So when I got engaged to Tom, we were planning the wedding. She goes, you know the rule. And I'm like, yep, I got to spend the night at your house again. So we watched the Pacers game on Thursday night. I spent the night, got up the next morning. I had Velcro rollers in my hair, and I'm like, I'm just going to go to the venue. So everybody was kind of bustling around, and Trisha and I did all the hair for the wedding because I'm like, I'm not handing that over to anybody.
I was going to ask, who's going to do your hair?
No,
because
Trisha did my hair, and she did a beautiful job.
Yeah, you look great.
And then I did all the curling, and she's the one that like put it up and stuff. She did a beautiful job. But before everything got really busy, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go into the venue. The lights were out. Everything was decorated. And we had our little sweetheart table in there. So I went up there and I took my journal and I'm just going to sit here and I'm just going to journal and pray. I just want to be by myself for a little bit. And Tom and I had made the agreement to not see each other. And he was bringing like water and different things to the venue. And there I am up in the dark.
Oh, no.
And in he walks. And I sat there and I didn't say anything. And I finally said from up above, well, this didn't turn out as I had planned. And he just put his hands down on the side. He goes, I would have had no idea that you were here. He goes, what are you doing? And I said, I just needed to take a moment. I just wanted to take a moment and take it all in before it got crazy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't do a first look with him, but we did the whole hold hands by the side of the door. You know, couple moments, things we did that. I did do a first look with my son.
Oh, that's another thing. Seth, I haven't seen him in a long time. Boy, he's a man.
He is.
I went up to him and I said, you don't really know who I am, but I know who you are. And he goes, well, I know my mom has a lot of friends. And I felt bad for him and then I said, I have to give you a hug. And so I don't know why I'm hugging everybody all of a sudden. I feel like I have to hug people.
But you have to, it's funny. I was talking with the gal that did my lashes and she did the makeup and I've known her for years. And she's like, it was like being with family, because they've been around all of the people that were there. And it was funny because Seth said to me, he's like, Mom, didn't you invite so-and-so? And didn't you invite so-and-so? And I'm like, nope. It was small. And it was our closest family and friends. Mm-hmm. It was intimate because it was either going to be 100 or 500. I didn't want 500.
No.
We just wanted all of these amazing people that were so important to us. Mm-hmm. That's who we invited. And so it was funny. So I did a first look with him and, he had big tears in his eyes and he's like, you look amazing. And so that was really pretty. And then
you did look amazing. She did.
Well, thank you. And then he walked me down the aisle and we're standing and I had said to him that when I got married the first time, my dad had a tux on and I had my arm in his tux and I literally was clenching the tux sleeve. And as we were walking down the aisle, my dad said to me, hey, kid, we don't have to do this now. Let's just turn around and get out of here. Let's go have a beer and we'll talk about this. And as I'm walking down the aisle, my dad's saying this. So I'd said this to Seth a couple different times. So we're standing up in the hallway waiting to come down. He looks at me and goes, Mom, let's go have a beer. You don't need to do this right now. Let's go have a beer. We'll just talk about this and decide what you're going to do. And so it was very sweet. It was very sweet.
And I loved the colors that you used. It was like, what color?
It was. I did it like I called it a sage and a salmon.
Yeah.
But we did the dark orange that was in there too. So it looked summery. And we did cylinders on the tables with floating candles, and then there was a small cylinder that had fresh flowers in it. Getting married the second time, I didn't want it like so over the top, overstated. I wanted it very classy and very elegant and not overdone. And that was my outcome. And I feel like we did it. But I'll tell you, I'd said to Tom, I remember the DJ was like, okay, this is what I want. He said, I want to be a party. And that when it gets done, people are like, where are we going next? When we only had a little over 100 people there. It wasn't too many. There were 75 people still there at the end of the night on the dance floor. And the last song that they played was a Journey song. Mm-hmm. It was Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Tom and I were in the middle and all of these people circled around us. And I'm like, that's how I want the night to end. But the best part was I went to IHOP in my wedding dress.
I was just going to say, where did you go afterwards? Because there's usually a story there.
Yeah, we got done. We dropped one car off at the house with my son, who all of his friends came back and spent the night at our house. Tom and I spent the night at a hotel. And I looked at him like, I want pancakes. He's like, now? I'm like, yep.
Why not? You might get them free with your wedding dress on.
We did not.
You're kidding me.
I was so disappointed. Yes, I could not believe that.
I'm going to write a letter to the corporate office.
I know, right? So we went in there. I wanted pancakes and crispy bacon. That's what I wanted. And he's like, okay, let's go. So that's what we did was in our wedding garb.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was the best.
That's one of those stories you'll always tell.
Yes. It was the best.
And I like the guys didn't wear jackets.
No, I wanted it casual.
Yep.
But the best part that everybody loved was the fireball.
Yes, I was going to say, how did that come about? Now, explain what happened and how it came about.
So those are my nephews.
Mm-hmm.
The oldest one was my ring bearer when I got married the first time. And so Tom and I, we wanted God. I didn't want to make a mockery of the sanctity of marriage because we take our marriage very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, life is serious and I wanted it to be fun. So I said to my nephews who are 32 and 36, I said to them, I'm like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want you guys to be my flower men. I want you to, I've seen like all these TikTok videos and stuff. I said, I want you guys to be my flower men. And my nephew's like, I had sent them a picture of the program. And I said, hey, are you down for this? He goes, yeah, I'm down for this. And so the other one. And so anyway, I'm like, but he's like, do I get to throw rose petals? I'm like, oh, no, it's better. I said, you get to throw fireball. He goes, oh, my God. I'm totally in.
Those little bottles of fireball liquor.
Yes, little bottles of fireball. And they walked down the aisle to fireball. What I didn't know was the fact that they were going to lock arms and do a shot halfway down down the aisle.
I don't think they knew that too.
So Seth and I are up in nobody can see us, and we can't see what's going on. And they start the song, and they're like passing out, and all of a sudden we hear this applause. Then a little bit later, we hear a roaring applause as to what was happening. And so I think, me, right? Hello, gorgeous. It's all about the experience.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were planning the wedding, that's what I wanted to be, I wanted it to be an experience. So the same thing with the flash mob photos, which I cannot wait to see those, right?
Oh, those are good.
Well, so we got done with the wedding and I had already had it planned, which is why the selfie stick was there. I'm like, my thing is when I'm on the TV show, I take a selfie with every guest. Every family dinner night, I take a selfie. So I said to my brother-in-law, I'm like, when the wedding's done, I'm like, we're taking a selfie. And we did.
Yep.
And, he's like, you want to do what? I'm like, it's my thing. It's just what we do. We got to
keep it going.
We got to take a selfie. And so to be able to do that, then to do the flash mob photos where Tom and I sat in the middle of the dance floor and then each table got up and hurried over during a song and we all got pictures with everybody. That was fun.
Yeah.
It was all about the experience. I wanted to be remembered beyond the parking lot. I wanted people to go to their next wedding saying, man, when we went to Kim and Tom's wedding, like that was the bomb. It was the most fun. That's what I wanted.
Very unique in so many ways.
Yeah.
But yet so you.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved. I loved there was a familiar feel to it. But yet there was just so much fun in other aspects. I mean, it was just a great combination of things.
Yeah, I thought so too. I liked it. We had a cigar bar because it was so nice.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that we had the outdoor area because it was summer and I didn't want people to miss out on the weather.
Mm-hmm.
And so the really cool thing was when Tom and I started dating, our thing was sunsets.
Mm-hmm.
And so he lived in Michigan City and he was like 3 minutes from the beach. And so we'd like have dinner and we'd throw the chairs in the car and we'd drive down to Long Beach and we'd drive down or we'd go to the beach and we'd just sit and watch the sunset. There was one night that we went to New Buffalo and we actually watched the sunset and then waited for the stars to come out.
Aww.
And it was beautiful. It was just beautiful. So where the venue was, we had a very clear night and they got a picture of us with the sun setting.
And it was by water.
It was by water. It was right by the river. And it was just so symbolic to me because that was us. That was part of our story. We're sunsets, and God gave us this amazing sunset to be able to get pictures by. It was perfect.
I'm going to bring something up that probably wasn't perfect, but it was funny.
Okay.
You were doing your vows.
Yes.
And two people came in. Where your trellis was.
Yes.
When you were doing your vows.
Yes.
Right behind it were doors to the cigar bar, to
Correct.
the veranda for them to come in. Well, obviously that wasn't the entrance. You're supposed to come in.
I didn't know, so I was disappointed. I wish that the woman that we worked with would have said there's a possibility of people coming in both places. We did these really cool wedding programs that looks like a newspaper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have a whole stack of them left because she never told us that there was a possibility that people would come in the other entrance.
Oh.
So if we would have known that that was a possibility, I would have had somebody there to be able to redirect people, but we didn't know. But yes, there was a couple that came in middle of our vows.
Yeah, you're doing your vows, and all of a sudden we saw them trying to look in the. Should we go in? Should we not go in? Usually, if you have to ask that, you don't.
You don't go.
Just go
correct.
back downstairs. But I can understand it was hot. Maybe they didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
But then they tried to open the door quietly. And did they ask you? Did they say something to you?
She kind of looked at me, and I just nodded at her because, like, what am I going to do at this point in time? Like, I can't.
No,
Yeah.
stupid. Go out the other door.
That's right. Go the other way. Go the other way.
No.
Yeah.
But that was pretty.
That was funny. Yeah. And she apologized later on, and I'm like, well, these are where the stories come from.
Yes.
If it's perfect and it's, then there's no stories. Like if you get different things that happen.
Actually, she was pretty good about it because I would have been loud.
Yeah.
You and I would have wanted.
Yes.
We would have said stuff like, "Oh, sorry, I'm late. Sorry, I just, start without me." We would have been obnoxious.
That's right.
We were just trying to.
Actually, Tom did get a text from her that said, "We're running late. Don't start without us." He's like, "No, I can't. I gotta start without you. Sorry, I don't have a choice.
I got to start when she starts."
That's right.
It's
That's
gotta
right.
happen,
That's right. When she goes, I gotta go.
But and then the food was really good.
The food was great. We actually, this particular gal called today, just to chat and talk, and she does has a bakery, and so Tom's like, I didn't get to see the appetizers. How were they? And she's like, oh, they were beautiful and very well done. And then he asked about dinner, and she said, nope, the food tasted good. The only thing there isn't anything I would do different except for one thing. And that was that we had a time when we were going to cut the cake, which was like right after dinner. Mm-hmm. Well, we got waylaid with a bunch of stuff and we didn't cut the cake right away. So people took the cupcakes that were there. But then we had a ton of cake that was left over.
I ate a cupcake.
Well, that's okay. You were supposed to eat the cupcakes. But I wish that we would have cut the cake earlier than what we did.
Well, you were taking pictures, and pictures always take longer.
But we were supposed to do it like it was supposed to be dinner. Like, listen, you know me.
Yeah.
I had an outline.
Yep.
Here's what's happening the day before.
Yep.
I sent it to everybody involved in the wedding. The DJ and I had a different outline for the ceremony. We had my brother-in-law. Everybody knew what was going on, right? I had my two very best friends acted as my wedding coordinators, and they were phenomenal. Well, they're accountants, so I should have known. They are you know what I mean? There's no gray area. It's either black or white. And my brother-in-law said to me, now, who do I go to? If I need a decision made and I'm not going to bother you, who do I go to? And I'm like, Lisa and Mary.
Yep.
They're the ones that you go to, and whatever they say, that's what you fly with. That's what you fly with. So they had their pink clipboards. She had a button on that said bride tribe, and she was like all in all night long.
She did
it was
know
amazing.
everything.
Yeah, she was great. Yeah, they did a great job with everything. But that's the only thing that I would have done.
So okay, you had did you want people to have cake first and then?
I think I would have. My goal was to have them choose between cake and cupcakes.
Okay.
But when there's no cake, you take a cupcake.
And they went fast.
Yeah, they did. Well, they were good too because they were all different flavors.
They were so delicious. But
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, the cake was beautiful.
The cake was beautiful.
So you got longer time to look at that.
Yeah,
and then this is my favorite part.
Okay.
All right, the wedding's all done. So you went up to IHOP, and then it was your wedding night. So you went. Now, what's going to happen now? You're going to be heading to honeymoon?
Yes.
Okay, where's that going to be?
Dominican Republic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. And it's been really nice because I've had this week off. So I haven't been I've not co-hosted the television show this week.
You've been missed on that. Even though she's been doing a great job. Don't get me wrong.
Thank you. So I'm not doing the television co-hosting job this week. Mm-hmm. So I'm just at Hello Gorgeous this week, which has been nice. Yesterday was Seth's birthday, so we went to Indianapolis in the afternoon. We didn't get home until 11 o'clock at night, which was way past my bedtime. Yeah. But it's been nice. I said to Tom, actually, I was talking to him before I came into the studio, and I said, the first time I got married, we did a 12-day honeymoon, which was great. Because you need the first 3 days to decompress.
And just to relax. And
exactly. But because we've had this week off, he's worked from home and I've worked, but we've been able to kind of get things done, unpack stuff from the wedding, and I've been able to get caught up on stuff with HG. I really feel like I'm ready to go on the honeymoon. Do you know what I mean? Yep. Because we've had time to prepare and time to, when we get there, it'll be okay, there's no, I'm exhausted, decompressed stuff. I'm really looking forward to just having that time with him.
Now, what kind of lists have you made for the honeymoon?
Originally it was thought that we were going to do nothing.
Oh.
Which I was okay with.
Yeah.
I got to go get a book today. I need book suggestions. Because I didn't want, this is me, I'm self-help kind of. I was going to let them by Mel Robbins. And then I'm like, nope, I just want a Danielle Steele romance, something that I don't have to think about.
There's one book, what was it I wanted to get, but I don't think it'd be appropriate. It's about how a woman killed her husband on the honeymoon. I don't think that would not set the right tone for the honeymoon and the happiness.
Yeah, that's
and
probably
all that.
not the mood I want.
No,
let's not say that.
Okay, so let's find something else.
So I thought, well, I want to go and see if I do want to find a book. I mean, I like to read it on my phone, but my problem is when I'm on my phone that I get distracted on all the other apps.
Yep.
So I want just a book that I can hold. But so I wasn't going to do anything. Anyway, Tom's like, hey, I got home, both in agreement. This is what's happening. Well, let me back up. So first of all, we weren't going to go out of the country. When we originally were talking about a honeymoon, we were like, he's like, I really don't want to go out of the country right now. I'm like, okay, that's fine. We'll stay in the United States. I'm like, how about Key West? We'll fly into Miami. Nice. We'll rent a car. We'll drive down to the Keys. We'll just really enjoy that. Then, but that's a lot of coordination, right? Where are we staying? How long are we going to stay there? Blah, 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 blah. He comes back to me. He's like, you know what? Forget it. We're going out of the country. We're going to do an all-inclusive resort because we don't have to think about it. We can just get there and enjoy. Great. I'm like, I'm fine. Just sitting underneath the beach umbrella.
Yes.
On the beach, at the pool, reading, just enjoying with a cocktail in my hand. I'm really okay with that. Great. We were in agreement with that. Yesterday, it's like, hey, I booked us on 4 excursions. I'm like, you did what?
You're going scuba diving.
Right. Well, one was, which I think will be fun, a cigar making tour. And it's really wild.
Do you really want to know how to make a cigar?
Well, he enjoys it.
No,
So
I know.
I want to watch him enjoy. Okay. I want to enjoy watching him.
You were such a good wife already, a great wife.
So I'm going to enjoy watching him. But Deb, it's $4.50 to go on the tour. So then he booked us.
It's a good deal.
I know, right? Then he booked us on another tour. And there's rum tasting. So it's cigar making and rum tasting. $4.50. Then there's another one where it was chocolate,
drink the
how
water.
to make coffee, like they actually make the coffee beans, how they make chocolate, and then how they make cigars. That one was $5.
Oh, well.
So there was that.
A little bit.
That's right. Then there was an all-day thing where you are on a bus for an hour, and then you're on a boat, and they take you to an island, and there's a barbecue, and it's like a booze cruise kind of thing.
Oh.
And that looked like that was kind of fun, and that'll be like an all-day event. And then there was a fourth one. I don't remember what the fourth one was.
So how many days are you going then?
7.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so the first couple of days we'll go, and we'll probably be ready to do something. By that point in time, at that point in time. So I'm a big, I've always been a big Hard Rock fan. Like for years when Mike and I would travel, I always visited all the Hard Rocks we could find. And there's one in the Dominican. Well, so I want to find out if it's not far, if there's a way to take an Uber or a taxi or something like that, to be able to get there.
Well, be careful if you're on these little islands. They may.
Well, I know. I want to come back. I got a lot to do. And a child to continue to raise.
I don't know, but who knows? But it sounds like a lot of fun. And I am just so happy for you. Like I said, I've known you a long time.
Yeah.
And I know what you've gone through, and Mike was terrific, and you've gone through your dating experiences too, and you found Tom, and he's a great guy, and I just wish the best for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot. And I think that's what's been so cool for me is that there were most people in that room knew Mike.
Yep.
And they were all there because they loved him
and you.
And they love me, and they wanted me to be happy, and they see how well Tom treats me, and that's what we said. We very easily could have eloped,
right?
Part of it that we wanted to be there. The other part you asked me about, some of the stories was we wanted to include the kids,
and that's another thing I wanted to bring up quickly. The way Seth and his daughter, how they interacted with each other, and how they interacted with Seth giving Tom a hug, and you and with the daughter.
It wasn't just a hug. It was a flask.
Well,
and then it was a hug. And then my son said to my new husband, Godspeed. I'm standing right here.
Well,
there's that.
You didn't deny it.
Nope. But yes, agreed. That and between and then asking, because it's not who gives this woman away, right? It was asking the kids for their consent, right, to be able to get married. And then I loved the sand. Instead of the unity candle, it was the sand.
I love that
thing that everybody poured the sand in, so that then those grains of sand can't be separated.
And I saw you coordinating that because I saw you thought it was going too slow.
Yep. I'm like, come on, let's pick it up here. The music's playing. Let's go. Yeah. Well, we talked about it. It was a third, and Eliza did a good job because she saw we were getting full, and so she didn't empty hers all in so that there'd be room for Seth, and then she tucked hers behind so that nobody could see she did that.
Wow, I love that kind of stuff.
I know.
Love that kind of story.
Yes.
Well, it's the half hour's gone already. How did that possibly happen?
Are you kidding me?
How did that happen?
Oh my gosh. Well, we'll have to do a part 2.
Well, we'll do a part 2, and I'll talk about. I just wanted this to be about you because everybody who knows you, and even if you live somewhere else and you may not know Kim personally, you know her personality now, and you know what a big heart she has and how loving she is. And it's just a pleasure to be a friend of yours.
Well, I'm grateful for your friendship too. I was thinking about that on the way in. I thought, we've probably known each other 20 years.
Of course we do. Where does the time go?
I don't know. Well, we're not getting any older, so that's
I'm
I'm
just
grateful.
getting blonder.
I know, right? That's me. Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too.
Well, so Kim Becker is now a married woman, and Tom, and you. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Enjoy your honeymoon.
We will.
And
we'll have honeymoon stories then when the next. So make sure that you like this episode. Share. You know what? And here's what I want to encourage our listeners to do. Share this with someone that you know that either has gone through a divorce, has gone through a broken relationship, or even as a widow. Because you know what? That's one of the things both of us have that, right? We're both widows. I want people to know that there's life beyond the death.
And whatever you're going through, maybe you're like me, you're going through dating again, and you might have some difficulties, whatever. Just know that there are other people here, other people that have advice. I may not always have good advice, but I have experiences. So in that case.
And I hope that people, so you were a widow and then started dating again, and then you were married. Mm-hmm. I want people to know that just because the death happened, that life doesn't end.
Nope.
And that they want you to continue to go on. So I hope that that's what people take away from me, that I get to be that inspiration, that you do, you know what, I got lucky and loved twice.
That's wonderful. And you can too.
You can.
And have a wonderful time again.
Thank you.
Love you. Love Tom.
You too.
And we will be back. This is July, so we will be back in August.
We will.
And I'll have some more dating stories because I've been revving things up a little bit more.
That's right. So you're going to want to make sure you listen for August too.
August is going to be really hot. Right. You think it's hot now in the Midwest. Just wait. We'll heat it up.
That's right.
If you want to get a hold of me, it's Deb, DEB, at B100.com. Deb5291 Instagram. How can they get hold of you?
So we're on all the social medias with Hello Gorgeous. I have a Kim Becker Inspires page. Check out our website at hellogorgeous.org. And you can email me at kbecker@hellogorgeous.org.
A lot of ways to get a hold of us, but like she said, make sure after you listen, you share it, and we want to get more and more listeners. And thank you so much for being with us. And
we love being with you.
We do. This is a lot of fun.
It's so much fun,
and it's cheaper than therapy. Look at it this way.
For us too.
Yeah, that's exactly true.